What does abuse actually look like, especially when it doesn't feel like abuse at first? How does someone so young begin carrying shame that was never theirs to hold? And why do so many survivors spend years in silence? Today's conversation is with Cindy, and her story asks us to sit with some uncomfortable but necessary questions about power, trust, grooming, and the quiet psychological weight of secrecy. Because the truth is, abuse rarely begins with fear. Often it begins with attention, with trust, with what feels safe until it isn't. And for so many survivors, what follows isn't just trauma, but years of confusion, self-blame, and silence that shapes how they see themselves, their worth, and their voice. In this episode, Cindy shares what it looked like to carry that silence, how her abuse showed up in her adulthood, and what it took to finally confront the past, break the secrecy, and refuse the shame that was never hers. This is Cindy's story. Cindy, welcome to Shift Happens.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
I'm so excited. Me and Cindy met at a conference where we both spoke at, and then I was like, wow, I needed to talk to her more. So we got coffee.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, guys, buckle up because her story is so powerful. And I just thank God that you took the time today to come on the show and share with our listeners.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for meeting with me that day for coffee. I mean, we had a great talk that day, and I'm so excited to be here today and to be talking to the listeners today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we dive into the nitty-gritty of your story, how would you describe the woman who is sitting here today?
The woman that is sitting here today compared to, let's say, teenage Cindy is a very different woman, and teenage Cindy would be very proud of the woman that she is today. Today, I am so happy to say that I'm a mom.
Aww.
I'm a wife. I'm an entrepreneur. I work alongside my husband in finances. I am a homeschool mom now, which
Whoop, whoop.
is like a miracle to me. It's like, wait, what? Like, Cindy, you went down that route? Yes, I did. I'm a believer in the Lord, which that's a big one. Teenage Cindy would find it so hard to believe that the Cindy today is actually a believer and in love with the Lord. So I'm a lot of things. And in that, I'm also a survivor. I'm a survivor of sexual abuse, and I'm an advocate now for survivors as well.
Yeah, amazing. I love that you are proud of your younger self. I think that's so important. Now, can you tell us a little bit about parts of your childhood? What kind of girl were you growing up?
Growing up, I was very shy, very, timid, kept to myself. I was constantly being told to not be loud, to not be too much, just to be quiet, be good, sit in the corner, not make a fuss. If I could be invisible, be invisible. So that's how I grew up, and I learned that that's just how things were at home. That's how they ran and functioned, and I actually thought everybody just lived a life like that. I thought, this is just how life is. This is normal, and everybody lives this way, and this is just how life is. Later on, I came to realize, wait, no, this is not how life is, and this is not normal. This is not how people live. But growing up, that was my environment. It was very lonely. My parents were working jobs, that took a lot of their time. My mom cleaned houses for a living. My dad was a security guard, worked graveyard shifts. So I was hardly around with them because I couldn't spend too much time with them where I wasn't too much emotionally for them.
Okay.
When they didn't even have
they didn't have the capacity.
No, the capacity to even pay attention to me at that point. Yes.
So growing up then, would you say that you did feel alone within your household?
Yes. Yeah, I felt very lonely. Sure, they were there, they were present, but it didn't seem like we would connect.
Yeah. Did you feel like an inconvenience?
I felt like I was a burden to them sometimes, where it was another financial strain on top of the basic household necessities.
It's interesting that you said that in your family, your parents kind of were like, okay, just kind of be quiet, and I can relate to that because my stepmom would always tell me and my brothers, children are to be seen, not heard.
Oh my goodness.
So because of
Wow.
that, I can really relate to feeling like an inconvenience and
Yes.
feeling like a burden, feeling like, okay, I just need to make myself small to make others more comfortable. And
Mhm.
I bet you can agree, and especially as we get into your story, how that story that we tell ourselves can really affect how we live, as an adult
Yes.
and as a young adult.
Mhm.
And we have to start unlearning those false narratives,
Yes.
right? Now, a big part of your story happens in middle school.
Yes.
Now, as you moved into middle school, many of us can agree that those times are so difficult. Like, I had a horrible middle school experience. Do you remember what life felt like emotionally during that time?
Oh my goodness. I mean, honestly, I can say that a lot was going on, and there was a
Mm.
lot of, outside of like hormones, it was just like a confusion where you're trying to find your identity.
Yep.
You're trying to fit in, you're trying to be cool, you're trying to look pretty, you're trying to get that validation
Mhm.
too, that yes, you are pretty,
And you're
that
changing
you are
so
seen,
much. Your body's
your
changing.
body's
You're
changing.
moody. Like, you're like, what's going
Yes.
on? Yeah.
And you don't know who to talk to sometimes. You're just like, I just want somebody to hear me out. I want to be seen by somebody.
Yeah.
And that somebody to me was my mom and my dad.
Mm.
But of course, they were not around for that.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that's exactly what made me such an easy target for my abuser,
Wow.
because he was able to instantly see that, prey on it, and just take advantage of it.
Yeah. So now you're about 13 to 14, right? When you're in middle school and you start
Yes.
receiving special attention from your teacher.
Yes, I'm 14 at the time, and he's about 44 years old at the
Wow.
time. He was a PE teacher, started off as a substitute teacher, and then got hired at a full-time capacity to
Okay.
work as a PE teacher there. And he just started with something so simple like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I like your blouse. I like your earrings. Oh, you look pretty today. Oh, I like your hair like that." Just
Wow. So he
something
started
so simple.
complimenting you
Yeah.
and almost feeding what you wanted at home, which was
Yes.
that attention,
It was
admiration,
the
to feel
validation.
seen, to feel
Yes.
heard, to feel pretty. And now you have this older man in a
Mhm.
place of authority giving that to you. And even if it's the slightest
Yes.
way.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you feel initially when you
I
were
felt
getting the...
so special.
Yeah.
Initially, I'm like, oh my gosh, like he notices me, he sees
Mm.
me. I felt so special, and I thought, wow, like I like this.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like how this feels, and I wanted more of it.
Mm.
I didn't know though that wanting that attention from the wrong person was gonna lead to my abuse and
Yeah.
years of torture later on.
Wow. Wow. At what point in his grooming, which is what it was,
Mhm.
did you realize this isn't okay? This isn't normal?
Once he started bringing up like phone sex a lot,
Okay.
talking about sex, explaining a lot of graphic things to me.
Mm.
And of course, the first incident of where the first abuse took place when I was 14,
Okay.
that's when I thought, like, I don't want this.
Mm.
It was so much for me. I just felt like, you know what? I'm not ready for this. This is a lot.
Mm.
And I actually didn't even blame him. I blamed me. I thought, well, maybe it's just you, Cindy. You're being too uptight. You're being a party pooper. You're just not learning to enjoy. I really thought it was me.
Wow.
I wouldn't put the blame on him. I thought, well, he's an adult. He knows more than me. I think it's just me.
Wow. Okay. So can you bring us into maybe a scenario or
Mhm.
give us an example, especially just for the leaders and or for the listeners, that are parents,
Yeah.
what it could have looked like, or what it did look like rather, for the escalation? Because I hear you say, okay, he was giving me compliments
Mhm.
and that made me feel seen and heard and pretty. But how does it escalate from compliments into more, into phone sex and into more?
So from the compliments, something so simple like that, then it started escalating into, oh, can you help me with the task? Just take role for me in class.
Mm.
Being like an assistant.
Okay.
And then from there, asking more questions like, so who's at home with you? Are you close to your mom? Are you close to your dad?
Mm.
Do you talk to them? How close are you guys? And of course, me like blurting everything out like, no, I feel unseen, unheard, unloved. it's like the perfect scenario for him to learn more about my home situation and where I stand emotionally.
Yeah.
And it was so easy for him. From there, he started something so simple like just touching my arm, touching my thigh, and escalating things later on by saying, you know what, we should talk on the phone, but you can't tell anybody because you're going to get in trouble and I'm going to get in trouble. And you don't want that, right? And I'd be like, no, of course not.
Yeah.
And so making me feel special, like, you're so mature for your age. You know, you're not like everybody else. You're so mature.
Yeah.
And all of that just started escalating. And slowly, by talking to him on the phone now, introducing phone sex, introducing graphic language, sexual references, and later on wanting to meet, not telling me directly that it's for sexual purposes, but just like, I miss you.
Kind of like reeling you in.
Yes. And then that day that I get there to meet him, that's when I realized something's wrong. And I don't want this.
Wow.
But it was too late for me.
So what made it especially confusing for you at that age? You're 14 at this time or 15?
Yes.
Okay. So you're 14. You show up. And in your body, are you feeling tight, tension? Are you anxious?
I'm scared. I'm nervous. I am tight. I am tensed.
Yeah.
The moment he starts doing things to me that feel so uncomfortable, I instantly tense up even more.
Yes.
I'm crying. He doesn't care that I'm crying. He really doesn't care.
Were you in freeze mode?
I was in freeze mode. And I thought, well, maybe the worst is over. But, you know, it just got worse from then on. And he was flat out to say, like, you know what, I didn't come here for nothing. And started escalating things from there. So from that moment on, I knew this is not what I want. I'm not ready for this. This is a lot. I didn't even know how to process a lot of what happened in that moment. But in the end, I ended up blaming myself because I didn't want to lose his attention.
Okay.
I really liked his attention. He was such a great listener.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I can't afford to lose him in that sense.
Yeah, I can't speak
I don't
up
have
because
anybody
then,
else.
Yeah.
But then also, I'm going to get in
this.
trouble. Yes,
too.
I don't like this. I'm going to get in trouble. And it's my fault. It's not his fault. It's my fault because I agreed to this to a certain extent.
Yeah. How long did this, how long did the abuse continue from that first time?
It was 5 years. From 14 until I was 19.
So even when you switched from middle school to high school, you still had this relationship with him?
Yes.
Okay. And so did you feel trapped within the relationship itself?
I did. And I wouldn't even call it a relationship at that point. It was more like where he just was not willing to let me go.
Okay. Yeah.
And he would tell me, no, I can't be your friend. Because I'm like, let's just be friends. And like, you date other people and I'll date boys my age. And he's like, no, you can't do that. Like, I'm going to wait for you. You don't know what you want. And he would always come about that way in the sense of, you know what? You're too young. You don't know what you want. You don't know what you're saying. Let me think for you. I know what's best for you. And at this point, my mom is already aware of who he is. She doesn't know about the abuse.
Okay.
But she's aware that this older man who's a teacher is romantically interested in me.
Oh, she knows he's romantically interested?
Yes.
Did you tell her that?
So how she came about to finding out was one day my sister got home from work early. My mom wasn't home yet. I was on the phone with him. All my sister heard was when she picked up the other phone line was him saying bye. But right away she knew that's not a boy. Like that sounded like a grown man. So she approaches me and she's like, who were you talking to? I'm like, oh, Brian, my friend Brian. And she's like, no, that's not a boy. That sounded like a grown man. I'm like, no, it was my friend Brian. She's like, no, Cindy, that's a grown man. But she never explained to me why she was concerned, why it was even alarming to her, or why it was wrong. It was just more like, oh my gosh, you're so disgusting. And once my mom got
putting
home,
it on you.
Yeah, my mom gets home. She's like, can you believe Cindy? Oh my gosh, she's so nasty. She's talking to older men. You need to discipline her. You need to talk to her. So my mom's like tired from work, overwhelmed. She's like, oh my gosh, like what the hell's going on? So she approaches me. She asked me like, what's going on? I'm crying. I'm so scared. I don't know what. Like, how do I even like handle it?
And I'm sure there's a part of you that wants to protect him in a way because of the role that he had in your life and the stories that you had believed about yourself.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
There's a level of, but I don't want him to get in trouble, right?
Yes. And so to cut it short, my mom slaps me, calls me a bunch of horrible things.
So at this point, you confessed it was your teacher.
I didn't say exactly who it was.
Okay.
I just said it was an older person. That's all she had to hear, pretty much. I mean, it was chaotic at the moment. The TV's in the background, like everything's just loud. My sister, star 69, to call him back. And he answers thinking it's me. And she just goes off on the phone with him and threatens him that if he ever calls again, she's going to call the police. Of course, he's scared. So later on that night, I guess my mom was curious, like, who is this person? So I was so scared to tell her when she asked me, but I kind of felt safe in a way to like, okay, I think
like
I can tell
maybe
her.
I can finally say the truth.
Yes. So I said, you know, like gushing out, like, oh my gosh, he's a teacher. Like, he's so awesome. Like, he pays attention to me, makes me feel special. And she's like, wait, how old is he? I'm like 44. And she's like, what ethnicity is he? I said, he's white. She goes, oh, white. So he's white? I'm like, yeah, he's white. And she's like, okay.
What does that matter?
To my mom,
that means that he might have money or something?
Is somebody with money, with status, with power. I mean, that's just my mom's thinking.
No, I know. But basically, she was basically saying like, okay, well.
Yeah, she's like, where does he live? I'm like, he says he lives on a houseboat. And she's like, ooh, a houseboat? Like, must be nice. I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, how much money does he make? I'm like, I don't know. Like, these are things I don't know, right? I'm like, I don't know.
And you're like, this isn't the conversation I thought we were going to have.
So then she's like, what kind of a car does he drive? I said, he drives a Land Rover. And she's like, ooh, those are expensive vehicles. She's like, you know what? You should talk to him. He must be so scared to death. Like, after what your sister just said, he must be so scared. So you should just call him right now. I'm like, so I can talk to him.
Were you shocked or no?
I was shocked, but I mean, I trust my mother. So if my mom is telling me it's okay to talk to him, I'm thinking it's okay. And at this point, nobody else still has explained to me why everything that just happened earlier was wrong. It was almost as if nothing happened, because then from then on, it wasn't talked about.
Wow.
It was like the weirdest thing. So I call him, doesn't answer. I leave him a voicemail.
Yeah, because he's scared now. Yeah.
Yeah. Leave him a voicemail. And then he calls back and he's like, you know what, Cindy? I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm not going to risk my career over this. And I'm like,
what? How many years had this been already?
No, it was like that same year that I'm 14.
Oh, this is the first year.
First year.
And this continues on for 4 years after your mom has this information.
Yes, because he now knows my mom says it's okay with it.
Wild.
She knows he's romantically interested in me.
I can't even understand that as a mother.
It's like an open door to him.
And now you're a mother. Can you
ever, no.
I mean,
no.
I would be sick.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
So that was why it lasted so long.
If this conversation is stirring something in you, don't ignore it. There's a free story guide waiting for you in the show notes to help you start processing your own story, not just what happened, but how it shaped you. And if you're ready to go deeper, as a coach, I help women unpack their story, process the hard parts, and turn it into clarity, confidence, and impact. You don't have to do it alone. So when you were silent, and not even to your mom, but maybe to friends or other relationships, or really when you started battling with like, okay, this isn't right and this isn't what I want anymore, what did that silence feel like internally? And did it manifest in any particular way?
It was super heavy. That silence was like a weight on me, a darkness over me. I didn't tell any of my friends.
Yeah, I was curious about that, you know, because I didn't know if you had a confidant or someone that you shared with. Okay.
I didn't open up to anybody. And during this time also a lot was going on, but I also met who is now my husband, who's my boyfriend at the time.
Okay.
And that's when things really took a turn, because
now you have a boyfriend.
Yes, and he doesn't want me to have a boyfriend. So I'm kind of hiding it in a sense. He finds out I'm hiding it, blows up because I'm cheating on him.
The teacher.
I'm two-timing him.
Okay.
Yes, the teacher
the
blows
40,
up.
Probably now 8-year-old teacher.
Yeah, and loses it. But now he's trying to make it sound like, well, you know what? I'm not a controlling person. So yeah, I'm going to let you date a bit, but then you're going to break up with him.
What were your thoughts when he would say stuff to you like that?
I had no way out. I just thought like this guy is a psycho. I have no way out. Like at this point, I didn't even enjoy talking to him anymore. I really wanted him out of my life, but he made it clear from the beginning, I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to get out of your life. Like I've already invested so much time in you that I'm not going to lose you to some boy.
Wow. Did you feel like a responsibility to him in a way, or like that, like you owed it to him in a way, or no?
No.
Okay.
I felt like I owed him nothing. I just felt so trapped.
Okay.
So
okay.
this is where the darkness kicks in
Yeah.
and that weight, because I can't talk to anybody. I'm living a double life full of lies. I'm trying to keep up with my own lies, with my friends, with my mom, with
your
my
boyfriend,
dad, with my boyfriend, with my abuser, with just everybody. And then I'm like, really, like, who am I?
Yeah.
I would really think that to myself, like, who am I? Like, what kind of a person am I? Like, maybe I am a bad person. You know, like I'm lying to everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who I am at this point.
When did you eventually speak out?
When I was about 20 years old. That's when I spoke up.
And had you had contact with him up until 20 or no?
No. So it was that year, that between 19 and 20, that I lost contact. So it was right after, actually, I was expecting my first daughter.
Okay.
That was when I ran away from home and I lost contact with him.
Wow. What made you decide to finally use your voice at the age of 20?
Once I heard from another friend of mine, her sister, bring up my abuser in a conversation, which I thought was odd, but just randomly came up. And this is where I look back now and I can see God literally just opening doors and putting people in place, because the chances of me meeting my friend's sister were like 0 to none. And then her bringing up a random conversation regarding my abuser was like rare.
Yeah.
We weren't even talking about my abuser to begin with. It was just about middle school. And then that's when she brought up my abuser. And she's like, I always thought he was creepy. And she brings up her sister, how he used to buy her ice skating skates and just invite her to go out. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, I'm not the only one. Like, there's more. And I will look back in that moment and remember all the faces of all the young girls that would surround him. He was like a magnet at the school. Not that he was good looking. It's just, I guess he stood out. He was fun.
Yeah.
Like,
and like you said, he made you feel seen and heard.
yes.
And when you are starving of that,
you want more.
You want more. Exactly. And he knew that.
Yes.
And he knows that. Wow. So you hear about this, you're 20, you're about to welcome your son, right?
My daughter.
Your daughter.
Yeah.
Your daughter. Now, what did that look like when you finally started speaking out? Can you bring us into that?
I felt like I was opening up a can of worms.
Yeah.
Like, so much fear, anxiety. I mean, just a lot coming in. And this is the point now where I'm now confessing to my husband.
Oh, he didn't know ever.
He didn't know ever.
Okay.
Like, nobody knew. That was the thing, that nobody knew. And now I'm opening up and so much is going on. And now it's like, I need to make a decision to go to the police and to actually say something. But I'm so scared, because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be arrested. This is my fault.
Wow.
Like, I still cannot comprehend that it's him. I'm putting the blame all on me. But I thought I wasn't the only one. There's more. Like, there's so many more.
So you were like, I need to speak up for the other young women, other young girls. Okay. So you make the decision to go and talk with the cops. What did that look like?
So the moment I walked into the police station, I pick up the phone. There's a phone at the entrance of the counter, and I'm shaking. I can't get the words out. I honestly don't even know what I'm going to say in the moment. I'm just so consumed by fear.
Yeah.
And I can hear the operator on the other line saying, ma'am, are you there? Hello? And I'm quiet. I like really want to say something, but I can't get the words out. And I finally say, I'm here to report a rape.
Wow. I have chills.
In that moment, they walk me in. They sit me down at a table. They bring a female officer in. And I'm so glad that she didn't judge me when she came in, because That was my fear instantly right away is, oh my gosh, they're going to judge me. What are they going to say? They're going to blame me.
Mm-hmm.
I have no physical evidence to begin with. It's just my word and a story. So she was so patient. I don't know how long I was in there with her, but we were there for a while because I couldn't compose myself. It was a lot. I had to explain graphic details, explain a lot of things. And that was like a real true confession in that moment. Mm-hmm. And then say it again for another officer and just go through a process.
And you're reliving it.
Yes.
You're reliving it. I'm sure you were trying to stuff that down and not, face that. And now you're having to say it to strangers.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So once that came about, they said, okay, you know what, Cindy, we believe you, but we have a problem. We don't have any physical evidence. Mm-hmm. So they said, what we're going to have to do is do a sting operation, which is a pretext call where they're recording the conversation that I have to now have with my abuser. I have to be the one talking to my abuser. They can't be the ones calling him and be like, hey, is this true?
Yeah.
Like, no, I have to get it out of him. I hadn't heard from him in a year and I was so scared. I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, absolutely not. Like, no, like, I'm not going to do it. Mm-hmm. But that was the only way to proceed forward. So they prepared me a little bit. Gave me a story to say, that I'm a single mom now, live in Sylmar, that he was right, that I'm sorry. Wow. All these things just to get him to like ease in. So we call, first number, no answer. Okay, try another number. And no answer. We try another number. And that's the number that I remembered because I would always see it come up on my phone. Mm-hmm. And he answers.
And it's from your phone? Is it like your number?
It's not my number. It's like a different cell phone that they have.
Okay, got it. And it's recording and all that.
It's recording. Everybody had to leave early for the day. Can't have a radio going off in the background, Mm-hmm. Like everything has to be quiet. Like nobody makes a sound. Everybody's quiet. So it's my husband, the detectives, and we're all in the same room. And it falls on me. The pressure feels extra heavy on me. And these are now details that my husband is going to hear for the first time.
And he's going to hear this man on the other end, your abuser.
Yes. So the pressure felt like it was really on me. Mm-hmm. And the moment he answers, I said douche. I used to call him a douchebag. That was my nickname to him. And I would make it come off as a term of endearment so he wouldn't get offended. And he would call me squishy. Mm-hmm. I don't remember how that came about, but that was the nickname that he had for me. And right away, he just started talking so comfortably. Like if we had just talked that morning, like if we never lost contact, he just talked and talked and talked. And then randomly, he just would change it like, okay, now, how are you? And that's where I'm like, I'm so sorry, you were right. It took everything in me to hear him again on the phone.
I can't even imagine what you must have been going through.
And now me telling him, you know what? I was wrong. I'm so sorry. Can you forgive me? And him just being so sarcastic, like, oh, you don't say. Wait, the baby is this old now, right? And he had tracked my pregnancy.
Wow.
To the T, because the exact time frame that he mentioned for what my daughter was at the time, he was right on point. And he's like, well, do you need diapers? Right away, like just kind of offering himself as a help. Mm-hmm. To get back in. So do you need diapers? Do you need formula? Do you need anything? Are you okay? Oh, he cheated on you. You don't say. I told you he was going to cheat on you and leave you for somebody else. But okay, tell me more. And just so narcissistic, honestly. Yeah. Long story short, I tell him I'm in a safe house in Sylmar for domestic abuse. And he offers to pick me up and the baby. I lied to him, told him I had a boy. And this is where he gets gross because he's like, so how's your body? Do you have any stretch marks? Like, how do you look? Are you still tight? Like, just disgusting mannerism. Asking me if because I'm in Sylmar, if I'm in the porn industry now. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Just so disgusting.
And you had to like you had to literally talk to this man and reply and try to go along with this story.
Yes.
How long did the call go for?
Maybe like 45 minutes. Okay. I at least had about 3 good calls with him.
Okay, so you guys had to, so after this first call, you had to go and plan other calls, or how did that work?
Yes, plan another call to get him to admit. But within the first call, we had enough.
Okay.
But still
But
kind
you
of
needed
like,
more, like
yes,
just to build a better case.
build a better case, but not
Yeah.
just that. But so he wouldn't find it suspicious that I
Yeah.
call and then not call
bye.
back
Yeah.
anymore.
Okay.
Yes. So I finally start asking, like, do you remember when I was 14 and you kissed me for the first time in the storage room in school? And he would get nervous and just, he wouldn't say yes or no. He'd be like, just like nervous. And then he asked, like, why are you asking me this? And I'm like, oh, it's just like a fond memory of mine. Like, that's why I'm bringing it up. And he's like, are you with the police?
He asked you?
Yeah. He's like, you're with the police, aren't you? Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. You're with the police. And he would flip out.
Wow.
I'm like, no, like, why are you saying that? Like, and if I was going to say something, I would have said something years ago. And he'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Like, he would just freak out and then calm back down.
Yeah. And then continue the conversation with you.
Yes. So then I started bringing up more details and same thing. It's like he would panic. And, you know, I would say, but you did that because you loved me, right? That's how you showed me that you loved me. And that was it. That's what like brought his guard down. And he's like, yeah, I did. I did do that because I loved you. And he started confessing over the phone.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I mean, we could unpack so much here. I mean, one, how was it? I mean, was your husband listening in on these calls? Was he able to hear?
He was in the same room.
He was able to hear his response to
yes.
your abuser's response. How, I mean, I'm sure you felt so vulnerable and so exposed in those moments. Did it bring you and your husband closer together? Or did you feel, or did you kind of, was there like shame, like not because you deserve shame, but I'm just putting myself in your shoes. Was there shame on your end where you're like, I don't even want to be close to you as my partner? Or was it like, no, now I finally feel free, I want to be close to you?
So during that time, our relationship was very rocky to begin with. It's like we were walking on eggshells, and the next step might break us.
Got it.
That's where we were at that point. So when we leave from that first pretext call, he's like, wait, so did you mean what you said to him? Like, did you like what he did to you? And
you're like, no.
All this doubt creeped in.
Yeah.
You know? So it was really tough, really hard. But I was done hiding. That's what I did for so many years, was just hide, be in silence, live in secrecy, live in lies. And no matter how painful it also felt to me, I was willing just to be open with them. Like, whatever you want to ask, just ask. Even if I was embarrassed or ashamed, I'm like, ask away.
Yeah, you're like, I'm done hiding. I don't want this to rule my life anymore. And the more that we're able to share our story and the more that we're able to finally use our voice, it really does break the chains of shame and guilt and unworthiness from us. And we can truly walk in freedom.
Yes.
Right. So as you're using your voice and you are for the first time experiencing some of this freedom in a way, what ends up happening to your abuser? You've had these phone calls. He starts confessing. Now what's next?
So what's next is an arrest. Leaning in to arrest him. And of course there was a plan in place, but it didn't go according to plan. So I was never supposed to meet him in person. But the plan was for me to meet him in person, like at a pizzeria, and like just meet with him. But of course it was not going to be me.
Yeah, of course.
So he wasn't coming home. He was so paranoid that he wasn't going back to his house to sleep. He was claiming that he was in Yosemite, which wasn't true. He was just like around the area in Lakewood.
He was so paranoid because of the phone calls?
Yes. He just knew. I guess he had a gut feeling like, no, she's going to turn me in. So he got caught at a gas station pumping gas.
So he never showed up at the pizzeria?
No.
Okay.
No. He never made it that far out to at least show up that day. He was at a gas station and the officers approach him. They're undercover, so they don't look like officers. And he's like, I know who you are. He's like, I'd rather die than go to prison. Gets on his Ford F-150 truck, speeds away, and it becomes a highway pursuit, like just high-speed pursuit. And they chased him a good while. It was all over the news. It became breaking news. And they tried to negotiate with him, like, just stop here.
Yeah.
Let's talk this out. But no, he wasn't cooperating. He gets pit maneuvered 2 times, escapes. He has a helicopter on him. It's like a movie going on
literally.
here. And he I guess sees there's no way out. He literally just drives off the freeway, lands on a tree. They have to remove the whole top of the car because he's a big man. He's like
Wow.
easily over 300 pounds.
Wow.
And they airlift him out. He's like covering his face, so ashamed. But that was just the beginning of my next like moving forward ordeal.
Yeah.
Because now he's technically in the hospital. He's fine. He goes into custody, gets arrested. But now this is where it proceeds to court.
Yep.
Him denying now what he's done.
So did you go to trial?
We did have a case, and he took a plea bargain because he wanted house arrest. I said no. Then he was saying, I'm not mentally well. I said, no, he's fine. Like, no. So then I guess his attorney or somebody suggested, you know what, just take the plea bargain before she testifies, because I was there to testify that day in court.
I'm sure you could have gotten other women to testify too, potentially.
The other victims did not want to proceed forward.
Okay.
But me moving forward, it felt like I did it for us. So
that makes sense.
That's what I felt like, I'm doing it for us. And I saw him in court and I was crying. I was shaking. I felt so scared just seeing him. He was in his blue jumpsuit and pouting, like just upset and angry. Just he looked so mad, and he was staring right at my husband. So my husband was there with me, and I read a statement to him, a victim statement, where I felt like I can finally tell him what I really think of him. And he can't come to me and say, no, you don't mean that. No, you don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
He has
no voice. He has no voice.
Yes.
Wow. And rightly so.
Yes. So he got sentenced that day. And in my opinion, I don't think it was like fair for the sentencing. But he did get sentenced to 5 years, I believe. And he was out in 2.5 with good behavior.
Wow.
So now he has to register as a sex offender.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you go through this whole proceeding. You're in this sting operation. You have a daughter at this point. Are you married at this point or no? Not yet.
Not yet, but we're living together.
So you have a partner. You're trying to like rebuild your life in truth. What did this experience, like what parts of this experience did you have to unravel when it came to your worth? And I know throughout your story, you were constantly saying how you felt like it was your fault. When did you finally get to terms with it wasn't your fault?
Through therapy. It took 8 years of therapy for me. And I would say maybe like the first year of therapy was when my therapist finally said, you know what, Cindy, like, I really want you to understand that this is not your fault. Like you were a child. He was the adult. He took advantage of his authority and position in school. He harmed you.
Yeah.
You didn't cause that harm on yourself. It's something he inflicted over you. And you need to see that.
Yeah.
But that was so hard for me to accept. I'm like, no, but I'm the one that agreed to talk to him, and I shouldn't have talked to him. And just so much work.
So many voices in your head. And I think as we start to walk in faith and in the truth, the enemy, as believers, the enemy will come and whisper all these lies to keep you stuck, to keep you filled with shame, to keep you believe that you deserved it. And so with that, how has your relationship with Jesus really impacted you in using your voice? And how has Jesus helped honestly heal you as well? I know we mentioned therapy, but Jesus is the great physician ultimately.
Yes. So later on, I do find the Lord and I commit to my walk with the Lord and just having that relationship with him, because growing up, I did not have relationship with the Lord. I had heard his name. Didn't know him though. Didn't encounter him. And when he encountered me, I felt like, who is this God that wants a relationship with me? Like, I'm so dirty. I'm so broken. I'm so sinful. Like, who is he that he wants me? I just genuinely felt in that moment when he encountered me an embrace. And me fighting him in a way like, no, let go of me. I'm so stinky. Like, no, God, like, no, like, I'm not worthy. But him not letting go. And he started working in my heart and in my mind, calling me valuable, worthy, redeemed. Redeemed was a big one because I felt unredeemable. Like after what happened to me, I thought, there's no turning back. Like, who can save me? Who can rescue me? But no, there's the Lord. And he started just softening up my heart, especially in the forgiveness part of it, to forgive my abuser.
Wow.
Because for years, I'm like, oh no, like, God, you know what that man did to me? Like, sure, forgive me, but don't forgive him. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, he doesn't work that way. At the end of the day, my abuser is also his creation, and he wants to redeem him.
Wow.
And that might be unpopular. You know, society tells you, like, don't ever forgive. Like,
yeah, it's almost like wrong for a wrong, or like show them. Yeah.
Yeah, like, no.
Take revenge.
Take revenge. Don't forgive. Like, he deserves it. Like, no. But the Lord is the opposite of what the world says. And I was like, okay, God, I don't have the strength to forgive him. But give me the strength and the grace to forgive him, because I don't want to carry this anymore, because unforgiveness was holding me captive.
Yeah.
I was chained up to my abuser, not physically chained up to him.
Mentally, emotionally,
but mentally and
spiritually.
emotionally. Yeah, it was affecting my day-to-day life with my children. Now I have 3 girls. It's affecting me with my children, my husband, my marriage, just to function like as a being.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't want to live this way. Like, why has it been so many years and I still feel stuck? I still feel chained. I still feel hurt. I'm still going through the motions. And when I encountered God and really gave that to him, he started doing it, not of course overnight, not in a week, not in a month.
Process.
It was a process, but he started working on me first and showing me like, okay, Cindy, this is, you know, like what I have to work on with you first. And little by little, it just came about where now I can speak freely about it and not feel that anger come over me again and like go back into that bubble. Now it's like, I really let go. Yes, really let go.
Wow. That's amazing. And I think that's such a powerful, powerful word for our listeners. As we wrap up, I want to ask you, for anyone that is listening that's still living in silence, what would you want them to hear today?
Oh my goodness. Speaking for myself, like, I guess what I wanted to hear then was, you're not alone. I believe you. You are worthy. You can come forward. You have the strength within you. Even if you feel you can't, you are braver than you know.
Yeah.
There's a community out there of survivors that are willing to help and be there for you. And that as you speak forward, it just strengthens the voice of more survivors to come forward.
Absolutely.
And that there is healing and there is hope and there is a new life and a future ahead of you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Shift Happens. Please be sure to review and subscribe so I can keep sharing stories of impact.